Cruise in a movie, this is what you get. Now, I maybe I would quibble with the casting of Tom Cruise. Maybe you shouldn't have a 54-year-old play lead in a mummy movie, but if you hire Tom Cruise, you get an action movie, and that's what we have. And I'm not upset about that at all.
No, it just blows my mind that people are treating this like it's something new. And that's when I know that people have their knives out and they're being lazy and reactive. When everybody like, dude, Tom Cruise gets an idea in his head, they go and do it because he's been in the industry that long and he has a proven track record. And it just, I don't like reading the articles about this really going at him for micromanaging. He's done it on every movie. Like so let's say Avatar 2 only brings in $2 billion. People are going to be like, oh, it's because James Cameron micromanaged it. Like he's been micromanaging forever. It's, it's not, it's just annoying. And it reeks of lazy reporting. Now, you're a movie critic, David, and you write for the Santa Monica Metro Nation Review, and you're the critic. I don't know why I came up with that thing. But you write a review for this movie. Where would you place it on the A to F score?
Oh, this is like a low B for me.
Yeah.
It's not an A, and it's not a B plus, and it could get into the B area, but I think it's a low B. Yeah. How about you?
B minus.
Yeah. See, we're basically on the same page. Like, I don't think this deserves all the hate it got. And I would also point to, remember what was happening in 2017 when this came out. This went up against Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman was a box office phenomenon. It crushed anything and everything in its path. Like, of course it's not going to be of course, in hindsight, it didn't do great.
Yeah, I mean, that movie, that was a legit phenomenon. I remember seeing that in the theater and just hearing everybody cheering. So just watching, it looked like in Wonder Woman that there weren't a lot of, so you go to Star Wars, Marvel movie, the opening weekend, you can tell some of the fans. But in this Wonder Woman, it didn't look like the typical comic book movie crowd. And they were eating up every second of it. And I was so happy because I love that movie. And I knew it would be big. I guess with this Mummy movie, yeah, it's just weird, man. I don't know. Okay, it made $400 million worldwide, but I can see why this movie didn't hit big in the States. When I saw the trailers, I kind of thought, what's happening here? The trailers didn't really speak to me. I don't know. It's a weird one. Sorry I'm mumbling here. I just have a hard time putting my finger on this movie.
I get it. It does have a weird tone. It's an action movie with a horror vibe. It should probably be a horror movie with an action vibe. They didn't figure that out. But I wanted to touch on something else that I think is important to contextualize why people think this movie bombed, or I guess did bomb, because it didn't make its money back, is that I think we were undergoing, as a society, universe fatigue. So remember, Justice League and these other movies are coming out, and they weren't doing very good, and they were trying to get the dark universe out, and everyone's like, why does we need all these intertwined universes? Why can't anything stand on its own? And so I feel like this movie got a little bit of blowback because people are just like, we don't need a bunch of monster movies that are interconnected that are more superhero movies.
Yeah, I remember the photo shoot with what? Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, Sofia Boutella. There was, the guy from
Javier
Bardem. And this is when Johnny Depp was not popular. There was the accusations. There was the firing from the Pirates movies. He was not public. He was public enemy number. Like, people were not a fan of his at the time. So I'm like, great, another $100 million Johnny Depp movie. We have this movie. You're right, Justice League. So yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. Audiences, that was the year. Was that also the year of Thor Ragnarok, 2017?
I do not know. I think maybe.
I mean, you have those movies. Let me look this up real quick. So let's say you have Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, 2017. You have Thor Ragnarok, Wonder Woman. Two movies that I think did wonderful things for the comic book genre. But then you have another Tom Cruise vehicle where you have a rakish man, younger lead. He's super ripped. He's hurt when she said it only lasted 15 seconds, their rendezvous in Baghdad. And so I maybe it just felt a little old school for people who were wanting something more like Wonder Woman or Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can't really fault the visual designs of this movie. I think there's a lot of really cool things happening. It's more that it just felt a little dated even when it came out. And if you go into it knowing you were seeing a movie that's more akin to, I would say, 2010, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I do love the production. They built some gigantic sets for this movie. And I loved hearing the commentary with the leads and the director, because I know there's a lot of CGI or VFX augmentation in it. But I love the gigantic sets. You rarely see those too much anymore. So I think they went into this with all the right intentions. It just was the wrong time with the fatigue and the kind of critic piling, I would say.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Mark, would you be excited for a dark universe?
No, I'd be excited. I'm more excited now for the Lee Wanell, Karen Kusama, the low budget. I'm very excited to see what she does with Dracula. I'm very excited to see what Ryan Gosling does with the Wolfman. I like a $20 million dark universe, a budgeted universe.
Interesting. I'm a monster fan. That's why we're doing this. I would absolutely love a dark universe with all these characters interacting. I don't think they always make sense, but I think from a critical perspective, the lower budget Blumhouse Universal pairings are going to work better. I think you mentioned a couple, but there's also Paul Feig, Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
There's a musical one coming out. I think it's called Monster Mash. Like, there is a lot coming down the pike, and I am stoked for it. And we probably have like 3 years worth of films that we're going to be able to cover, Mark.
I love that idea too. And I kind of like the new area that they're tackling. I mean, look at Invisible Man. Look at what Lee Wanell was able to do with $7 million. That tiny $7 million movie was a massive hit. And I think it's going to have a lot of studios reconsidering, which may be bad, gigantic blockbusters, but I think movies that are that small foster a lot of creativity. So I like that. I like, if you make these giant monster movies with $150 million budgets, they're more safe. But if you make 10 monster movies with a $10 million budget each, you can make them funkier. And that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I want some funkier movies.
And you only need one to hit.
Yeah, exactly. You need one to hit, and your budget's fine. That's what Blumhouse does. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to, some newer stories. And I'm not saying I wouldn't love a shared universe further down the line. I know David Koepp is still talking about his Bride of Frankenstein movie. Just, you know what, make them all. I'd watch monster movies all day. But I just like the new stories. The new stories for me are pretty cool.
Okay. So I guess one of the things I wanted to talk about was really related to the current Dark Universe. And the Dark Universe right now consists of what? 2 movies?
Mm-hmm.
It's Dracula Untold and then The Mummy. Have you seen Dracula Untold yet?
I have not. Is it worth watching?
I like that movie. I think it's better than this one.
Oh, should we talk about that on the podcast? I've never watched it. Oh,
we are going to talk about it.
Okay.
Because that's the next remake.
Oh, perfect. I've been dying to watch it, and I still haven't.
So what I want to, this might not be, this question might not be pertinent because you haven't seen it then, but I wanted to know who would win in a fight. Would it be Dracula or the Mummy? And I honestly cannot tell you because they sort of have similar powers a little bit. It's like the Mummy's like, I got some rats. And Dracula's like, well, I got some bats. Let's have a rat-bat fight and see what happens.
Oh, that'd be great. There's 2 armies running at each other.
Got they're not zombies. I guess they're called liches, maybe. Liches versus baby vampires.
Oh my gosh. Let's do it. All right, so that's another movie, Dracula Untold, that everyone disliked before it came out too.
Yeah, it got retrofitted into the Dark Universe because they put it on a post-credit scene.
Oh, really? I think that news got out, then everyone just hated it.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. I'm telling you, it's not amaterial, but I, as a monster fan, dig it, and I like what they're doing, and I like the actor in it.
Yeah, that dude's cool. Luke Evans?
Yeah, he's part of the Fast Five family, man.
Yeah, he is. Owen Shaw. And then you get the other guy who's from Need for Speed. Oh, what's his name? The villain in Dracula Untold. He's also in Preacher. Oh,
I can't tell you his name. I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of him.
I'm excited. Dracula Untold. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and I have. Oh, go for it. Sorry.
I had one other question with this like grouping of questions. So we've covered the old Mummy, we've covered the new Mummy. Let's do a Mummy discussion. Okay. Who do you think is a better Mummy? However you want us to decide, better is. Is it Amenet or Imhotep?
That's really tough because I think they both do a lot with relatively little.
Mm-hmm.
I like, man, wow. Okay. I think I wrote about this for Cracked, and there's a scene in the second Mummy where let's see, Oded Fair, right? He's the mummy.
Yes.
He does a really beautiful job acting. He shows this anguish. But in the first one, he's more of just, he doesn't really have much to his character in the first one. So I'd give it to Sofia Boutella in The Mummy. I know that people are going to hate that. I love the look of him in The Mummy, but I liked her scenes. I thought he was given more and he's great. She was giving less and she did a good job, and it's her, her performance is underappreciated. So I'm going to give her some love, and I'm going to say Sophia.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Imhotep. I love him in the first 2 Mummy movies. Great action. And I'm just really attached to that love story that's happening. It's like the weird Romeo and Juliet story that's happening, and he has his heart broken even though he's the villain.
Oh, I love it. And listen, if I had to check a box, if there was a poll, I would give Imhotep. But since I want to promote Sofia Boutella more for her role that got hated on unnecessarily, I'm going to give her that. I'm going to give her the lead.
Perfect.
Are you going to ask me about Brendan Fraser or Tom Cruise? Because we don't even need to have that discussion.
No, I mean, I'm a Fraser head. That's not even close. I feel like they were trying to channel Brendan Fraser, to be 100% honest with you, which is weird. Just like one 90s star trying to channel another 90s star, and it just didn't work.
And then you have, Annabelle versus Eve? And that goes at Rachel Weisz all day. And then you have Benny or Sergeant Vale, played by
Chris.
Chris, played by Jake Johnson. It's going to Benny all day.
Yeah, there's really Sophia Boutella is the shining star of this vehicle.
She's good. And I liked hearing the commentary. It was interesting hearing everything she had to say about it. One bad thing about the commentary, I got to get this out there. Director Alex Kurtzman is eating during some of it. And you have to listen to him chew and talk with food in his mouth. I would never podcast or record with food in my mouth. I just couldn't do it. So I had to listen to him eat during the commentary, and that got very annoying for me. I just got to get that out there in the world.
You mean I shouldn't eat these bag of chips?
Oh man, yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm listening to a man chew right now.
I hate that. I hate it too. When I drink water during these podcasts, and I lean away from the mic. You could probably cut that part out, but I 100% do that because I don't want to get it caught on the mic.
So I was recording the other day, and I got really thirsty, and it was really hot in the room. I started slugging some water, and when I was editing the episode, I was like, wow, that's really loud. So I just want to let it, you know what? I edited that out too. I'm good at editing, so you'll never hear me slurping water on the podcast, but I could never do it. I edited it out. I couldn't leave me munching on food during man, sorry. I had to vent.
Okay.
Right.
I have 2 games we can play.
All right. So how about this? You want to take a quick break and then we come back? We'll do the games?
Yes.
All right, let's do that. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have these 2 games. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and I'm ready for these games, David. Let's do it. Hey, how's your mercury bath, by the way? You doing okay?
It's getting a little cold. I'm gonna have to heat it up a little bit, get some extra warm mercury in there. But I'm doing okay.
Sounds good. You're not looking like T1000, are you?
Not yet. I'm getting a little wrinkly though.
All right, what do you got for us?
I really love that bit. I wish I would have had something with a bath bomb, but I couldn't think of something on top of my head. I was like, God, I gotta get a bath bomb. I couldn't figure it out. Okay, so I have 2 games I want to play for this. I'm going to give you the option of which one to go first with. Option 1 is Tom Cruise Draft. I think it's always fun to do a Tom Cruise draft. And the second one is a game I've created specifically for this podcast, and it's called Tom Cruise or Tommy Wiseau. And I'm going to give you a movie and a character, and you tell me, would it be better with Tom Cruise or Tommy Wiseau?
All right, so let's do the Tom Cruise versus Tommy Wiseau, because if I pick against Cruise in it and pick Tommy Wiseau, then it'll kind of look bad. But then if we do the draft, we'll just talk about how great he is in those movies.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, so I have, I believe, 5 movies. So I'm going to give you a character and a movie. Okay, so number 1, Tom Cruise or Tommy Wiseau as Connor McLeod from Highlander.
Tommy Wiseau.
Okay, why?
All right, so as much